Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. In today's video update here for JASMY, we are trading at 0.00353, 24-hour volume, we're down 42%, and market cap, we're down 1.78%. Heading over to our daily chart, we can see the uptrend itself is slowing down and we've got a lot of selling opportunities here, most importantly in the 4-hour and 2-hour time frame that we are going over. However, we did see almost a hold here on our support of 0.003526. Again, a few of our candlesticks here dating back on November 14th was able to hold on to this area of support, and we are going to be retesting it here, especially around our 28% of our fib at 0.003501. Now again, if the price does move away from an area of supply and demand, as we can see in the volume profile, and ultimately the price is going to go back to another area where we're able to see majority of the supply and demand. And again, when we see that, it's either we go up into this node here at 0.004011, or we go down as we're leaving at the outskirts of our supply into this node here at 0.003119, and that's closer to 61% of our fib. So this is going to be very critical for JASMY if we're able to hold on to this area of 23%. Now it also depends on how shallow this correction is, because with the exhaustion of this uptrend, we had a really good support of our volume. And then coming down, we want to make sure that we are continuing in a very small correction itself. So even if we're coming down to 38% of our fib, and then we're able to see an increase, we're going to retest the 50%. Now, if we do drop all the way down here to the 61% of our fib, we ultimately broke the momentum of this uptrend and going into, again, more of a bear market. As we can see, we've had multiple candlesticks close above our 20 moving average, and it is going to come into question if we're able to hold on to this momentum at 61% of our fib, or even, at our 20 MA in order to hold on to this current here. The RSI here triggered a selling opportunity at the prime location of our red candlestick. Again, at the very top of our Bollinger Band, we can see our candlestick wick at the very top here, which did signal a signal of overbought. And of course, on our MACD indicator, we can be able to see a lightness in color. So essentially where we want our MACD line and our signal line is above the 0% of our MACD indicator to really have impact of the marketplace. Now, if we go into the weekly chart here and we open up our volume, I guess it doesn't really work on this indicator here that I've got for Binance. Let's kind of go into Coinbase and take a look at the weekly chart. Really not a whole lot. Bittrex, let's take a look. Here we go. So on a weekly chart here for Bittrex, we can see that our MACD line and our signal line is further away from the 0%. So again, on a bigger scope of everything, the continuation of this bear market is going to continue week after week until we're able to match or come above the 0%, and then we're able to see more of a massive wave in regards to JASMY getting out of this accumulation phase, because essentially we're coming down to a bottom, but where is the bottom for JASMY until we can actually see that reversal happen? And the further away that we are from the 0% does actually strengthen that bear market itself. But enough of that. I'm going to go over to the 4-hour time frame, because again, this is going to be very, very critical in the overall price for JASMY. And essentially here where we see where we talked about in our last video was our supply and demand zone above our 38% of our fib using our volume profile. Now again, the price is going to find the next area of volume, and if we really take a look at it, it's again down here at 0.00312. Now before we even get into that, we are going to be taking a look at some areas of support and seeing if the price is going to consolidate as well. So if you can see time after time in our 4-hour time frame, the green candlesticks that we're getting is really, really nothing. We've got a dragonfly doji candlestick right here, and then followed by a lot of red selling candlesticks itself. Now at the very bottom here, this is essentially where we're looking for a reversal type. It's called a morning star candlestick pattern, and just kind of, if we can follow along here, we have a red candlestick followed by a doji candlestick where the open and close is in the middle. So right now it's an indecision of the marketplace is essentially what a doji candlestick is. There's really no weight in the buyers and there's really no weight in the sellers itself. So if this candlestick does open up in an engulfing candlestick in a green, so if we're able to push this all the way up to here in a green that engulfs this previous red candlestick, it gives us the formation of a morning star, which is a bullish candlestick pattern with a combination of 3 candlesticks. Now our RSI itself, it did trigger a buying opportunity here at our K and our D line when we saw these 2 lines cross above each other. However, one of the caution that we do want to take into consideration of this is that our D line, which is this white line right here, doesn't seem like it's moving anywhere further apart. Normally when we see this, we see a gradual increase where the K line is essentially like up here, opposed to getting really close to the D line itself. So the momentum of this buying signal may not be as strong as we want it. Now, if we head over here, we can see that the MACD histogram or these bars is basically matching the same size, if a little bit more than the previous candle. Yes, it's lighter in the color, but what we ideally wanted was a smaller histogram itself. And that basically will show us a consolidation phase. So basically consolidation is where we come down to an area of support and then come up to an area of resistance and then area of support. So if we're taking a look at this area of supply and demand, we're focusing on this node right here of 0.00360. So essentially we may come down to retest the area of support and then coming up to an area of resistance, all dependent on the momentum itself. If we are able to see smaller bars, then it would give us at least some leeway to hold up and come up and retest that area of resistance or even retest the 20 moving average. But let's take a sneak peek over to the 2-hour time frame itself, because it does look like we're coming down into a downtrend corridor. So yesterday's video, we were anticipating price consolidating again, coming up to an area of resistance, coming down to an area of support. We fell short right here as the expansion of the MACD indicator showed us more red. All of these reds here and didn't even reach up to the area of resistance and retest that resistance. Now, one of the things here that we are experiencing is a breakthrough of our resistance line. So in RSIs, we do have resistance line as well, 19%. And then we've got here at 21%. We just broke it off in the last candlestick that we can see right here. Our K line here is at 26, and we can see a gradual space in between our K and our D line. So once we see that space itself, again, we're going to anticipate that the price is going to come up, but it is only going to short. It's going to go up just a little bit here because we see rejection all across the board here. 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 on our 50 MA. We did close below it, and we do see smaller bars in our histograms. So again, if we're able to get more smaller bars in our histograms and definitely lighter bars in here, and we see the spaces in between here getting smaller, then it would be more realistic again to close above our 50 MA and then continue up to our next area of resistance here that we do see at 0.00359. Now, in our downtrend corridor, coming down to an area of support, resistance, support, essentially what we do want to see occur in here with this breakout that we see is ultimately a retest of this line. So we may see price all of a sudden shoot up, but we do need to come down and retest this area of support, because time for JASMY, and you can go through the charts, whichever time frame that you'd like, you ultimately see a false breakout for JASMY whenever we break out of corridors here. So if we are going to retest this line and we see a huge selling phase in the market, then we do want to make sure that we retest this line, because what majority of happens with JASMY is that the price comes down into the corridor once again and then repeats the same scenario. Again, if we're able to close above the 20 MA in multiple candlesticks, and this is the 20 MA, which is this yellow line here, then it will confirm the breakout from this corridor here. So that's kind of my video for JASMY, guys. Thank you so much for bearing with me as I'm explaining. Really, really appreciate it. Definitely like, subscribe, and comment down below. But I'll see you guys next time. And I gotta blow my nose.